everybody. Welcome to another episode of A Grieving Mother's Journey. This is episode 12, where we will be sharing visits from our angels. And I do have, there's two guests out of the studio that are expected to join us. We do have Dr. Pamela Reese that's going to be coming on shortly, and we're waiting for Tempe. She'll be on shortly, and I do have in the studio our very own group member that was here before. And this is, you want Scooby or Erica?
It don't matter.
Okay, Scooby Erica.
It could be both. It could be both.
This is going to be an awesome episode, everybody, where myself as well as my guests, we're going to be sharing visits from our angels, and it's going to be awesome. So I hope that you enjoy this episode. So before we get started, I do want to make an announcement. Next episode is, back by popular demand, is going to be Siblings Speak Part 2. Yay!
So excited. There's a lot of people out there that need to share their story.
Yes. And just so I'm not sure if everybody knows, but there is a chat group that was created on our group page just for you siblings. So don't worry. I have it where they have to actually, be approved to come in. So it'll be just siblings because, grief is grief, but grief is different amongst different, you have, mom's grief, dad's grief, siblings grief, so forth and so on. So I created that group just for you guys to go in and just connect with one another. So it'll be just you siblings connecting because, siblings, the grief is there, just like moms, dads, so forth and so on. But only sibling to sibling can understand, what you're going through. So this group was for you. You can go in and connect with other siblings. So make sure you go ahead and join the chat. My admin, Kay, will be, the admin of that group. She's also, a sibling. Of course, she's my daughter, so she lost a sibling. She's there for everybody. So please go ahead and join that group. So next week, Siblings Speak. Now, if there's anybody out there that is a sibling that wants to be a part of the live podcast, just send me an email. It's A Grieving Mother's Journey, which is a AGMJ. Don't forget the dot 51522@gmail.com. And we'll get you part of the podcast. So without further ado, let's welcome Erica Scooby.
Good evening, you guys. Good evening.
Yes.
So one of the very, maybe handful of times that my brother had a visit, it was actually through my son, Santana. It was the night before, and my son was like, "Mommy, is Theo Pancho going to be at school with me tomorrow?" I said, in the spirit, like, what do you mean? He was like, he's with me at school all the time. He rides the bus with me, and then he's even in class with me, and he's coloring. I said, you sure that's Theo? He was like, yeah. I said, oh. And I said, did Theo color with you? He said, yeah, and he rides with me every day. And then he was like, but then he saw Miss Ward's butt. And he walked away. I was like, I knew hands down.
I cannot.
My brother. I knew my brother definitely loved the women, no matter what color, shade, race. That was just, that's just how my brother was.
Yeah.
He was very honest about his business and didn't care if you liked it or not. Either you took his honesty and you became his friend, or you just didn't. You just kept fucking moving.
Okay, beep.
My bad. But I thought that was cute because then even when my son graduated pre-K, he was like, "Mommy, who did you invite?" Because we had limited like 6 tickets for his pre-K graduation.
Okay.
And then he started naming like my sister, brother-in-law, the normal. And he was like, "Are you gonna invite Theo Pancho?" And I'm like, I'm texting my sister like, I need you to help me like chime in and have this conversation, like, cause I tell him, and then every time, like, even when we walk out of the house, we'll like blow kisses, cause I have them in the urn, in my home. And she was like, well, pray to Theo Pancho that he's gonna be there in spirit and stuff. And I was just like, oh my God. And then I was just like, and I saw a cardinal outside on the fence when I had pulled up.
Cardinals.
So I was like, you're here.
Oh my gosh. Yes,
Yeah.
cardinals is like the main thing with me and my son. It's like I never saw so many cardinals until after my son passed. And it started, when I, of course, after he passed, because he was murdered in my home, I wasn't going back there. So I stayed with my daughter for a little while. And it was crazy, the amount, cardinals coming, like it was just crazy.
Yeah, that is a blessing. That is a good sign. And I teach my son, because this is what I was brought up to understand growing up, that and blue jays and stuff. And I'm like, you see those birds? And one day we happened to saw 3 of them. And then I was like, oh, there go Wella, there go Dad, my father, his grandfather, and then there go Theo Pancho there. He said, 3 birds, Mom, 3 birds. I said, yeah. I said, that's a blessing, babe. I said, they all watching us. He said, are they following us? I'm like, they may be. I said, you never know, so you better be on your best behavior no matter what you're doing.
I know, that's right, because they're always watching.
Yeah.
Always watching.
Yes. Sneaky grin and kept it moving.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I know we have your son here with us. I mean, only if you want to, but I would love the audience to meet him. Would that be okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Santana. Come here, puppy.
Santana.
Come here, my love bug. Come here. I want you to come say hi, okay? You're not gonna be able, you're gonna be shy. Well, let me put you on my lap. Come here. Come here, bug. All right, I'll put you on my lap. Oh my goodness. You're so heavy.
Don't be shy. It's okay.
You like being in the camera, all of a sudden you don't want nobody to look at you. Mira, it's only a laptop. It's a laptop.
Can you say hi? Do you want to send a message to Pancho?
You want to say I miss you, Theo Pancho?
Listening.
You were sitting over here smiling. Get out of here. Now you're being foolish. This is what he does. Look. Go ahead. Look.
Santana, look at yourself in the camera.
Yo, you was off the hook.
He's not with it.
Okay, well, fine. Go back in the cellar. I'll see you in a second. Thank you. I thought you were going to be nice. All right, be careful. Be careful. Hold on. Better thing. There you go. He's going to get me later for that.
So did you have any other visits outside of a cardinal from Pancho? Yes. Anything, because they say things like not just birds, but there's feathers, there's dimes, there's electrical things going on, and those are actually signs. My cousin Dr. Pam Reese actually gave me a book with different signs. So just to let everybody know, there is a slight difference between a sign and a visitation. So a sign are things that you may see, or things that may happen to you, someone messing with the radio or things like that. But a visitation is your actual loved one or your angel coming to you in some type of form and speaking with you, and interactions. But as far as like we can kind of go off just a little bit, like with signs. So I know you had mentioned like cardinals, which is actually a sign, and that's okay because I get those all the time. I get cardinals in my yard. I mean, I've been getting cardinals since my son passed, like every time I turn around. In fact, where I work, I'm a community manager, and I help our active duty service members find housing. And in one community that I was working in initially, right after my son died, it was crazy because it was the end of the day. Everybody had gone. I was getting ready to lock up. And in the front of the building, you've got your double doors. You've got windows everywhere. You've got windows at the top. And I'm coming back from the backside, and all of a sudden I heard this, but it was like a little peck. And I'm like, I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm like, where's this coming from? Now, granted, this is the first time that my son sent me a sign um, via Cardinal. And I'm kind of looking, I'm like, what is that noise? And I looked up and there was a cardinal. And he was in the window and he was actually knocking.
Let me in. Let me in.
Yes, he was knocking. I was like, wow. So that was amazing within itself. Again, that was a sign more of a visitation. We'll get into the visitation that I had later, but the sign, it was just fantastic. And again, it was my first. I mean, I've always, heard of cardinals and this and that, but I've never actually had a sign from a cardinal. It was just freaking amazing. And I was like, I was like, yes, Malik. And he did that for a good week or two.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, every now and then I heard this, this knock, and I go out there. It got to the point where I actually purchased a bird feeder and I put it outside my community building so that he could eat. So is there any other, signs of visitations that you'd like to share?
Yes, we were going into the Food Lion. It was cold outside, maybe January or so.
Okay.
And my brother, we have like a big heart when it comes to like the homeless community. Because unfortunately we have suffered from it ourselves. Not really want to say suffer from it, but it's happened. And my son, when I go feed the homeless now, every now and then, he comes with me. He's helping, passing out the plates and stuff.
Aww.
He's a big helper when it comes to that. So at the Food Line, there was this lady, a baby, and another dude wrapped up in a blanket. And I was like, I don't know, because sometimes you have to be cautious.
Absolutely.
Who you give money to, because some people be playing games in it, and it sucks. But the most part, I was just like, no, I don't know. So we go into the store, and my son was like, Mommy, let's give them some money. They need money. I'm like, I need some money too myself.
Don't we all?
So I'm trying to walk away with the car, and he turns around. He said, Mommy, Theo Pancho said, give them some money.
Oh my God.
Then all of a sudden I heard, Erica, like, and it felt like this breath, like back in the back of my ear. I had, I said, okay, hold on. I had like $5. I said, hey, babe. He said, no, Theo told me I go give it to him. I was like, okay, here. So my son went and gave the homeless people the $5. I was just sitting there like, I don't even want to go in the store. I turned around, went right back home. I said, I need to go sit my butt down somewhere. I said, to me, that was just like, okay. And then I started smelling his scent. So I'm just like, oh
wow.
my goodness. I was like, Pancho's here. And I got in the car and I just like broke down crying. He gave me a tissue. I was like, Mommy, it's okay. I said, you see Theo more often than I do. That's not fair. Oh, get out of here.
Are you ready to say hi to the community?
You want to say hi?
Not ready yet.
Okay, well, fine. You're pretty quiet.
That is so awesome. So, I'm not sure what happened to Tempe. If you're listening, Tempe, we're still waiting for you, and we'd love you, to come on in and share your story. We were looking forward to that, but we're here. We'll be here till 7:00. So go ahead and just click on that link and come on in whenever you can. In the meantime, I usually wait until about 6:40 or so to take phone calls. But, before we get to our next guest and myself, if any of you have experienced any visitation, now, again, visitation and signs, they are different. And, this podcast is about actual visitations, but we welcome any signs that you've had. I mean, if you found feathers or dimes or pennies or anything, if your brother, sister, significant other, mom, dad, son, daughter, kind of mess with you a little bit with your radio or your AC in the car, please call in. Number is scrolling at the bottom, 571-409-3400, and just kind of share your story. if you're not comfortable with that, you can just call in and give some kudos to our guest Scooby, our upcoming guest Dr. Pam Reese, and myself. I'll be sharing my story later on, but please give us a call and share a little bit of your experience with your visitation, or with your sign. That would be awesome.
Okay, if you're gonna get on here, you need to say hi. Look, say hi. Then it's done.
Okay. So while we're waiting, did you have any more to share at this time? You want to
No,
think about
okay.
some things maybe later on?
Maybe later on.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Okay, everybody, that was Scooby, Erica, sharing her story. She'll be with us throughout this live podcast. So I am getting ready to bring in Dr. Pam Reese, who is going to share her story on her visitation from her son Paul, who's actually my cousin Paul as well. She's a former guest. She came on and she spoke about what not to say. So check out that episode when you get a minute. So in the meantime, let's welcome Pamela, Dr. Pam Reese. Hi, Pam.
Hi. Hi, can you hear
How
me
are
okay?
you? We
Yes.
can
Hi,
hear
everyone.
you.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show.
Of course. Thank you for coming back and joining us again. We appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
So go ahead and share your story about your visitation from Paul. We'd love to hear it.
Okay. Okay, well, just for a little background, I lost my son Paul, who is my only child, at um, April of 2022. He died by suicide. And although he did not die by gun violence through somebody else killing him, he ended his own life with a gun. So this is important because he had never even had a gun before. He never expressed interest in a gun, never. And he just bought a gun and ended his life with a gun. So I'm very interested, of course, in gun control, and I'm really hoping that that issue will be addressed with the next administration. But I'm going to tell you about two different visitations I've had from my son. My son, I believe, has visited me in various ways since he's been in the spirit world. But I'm going to talk about a couple of things that happened to me. And one was about 2 days after my son passed. I was laying in bed and I saw, I hate to say a ghost, but for for just to make it simple for everybody to understand, I saw a spirit which actually looked like a ghost. It almost looked like the tail end of a comet, if you know what that looks like. And that spirit appeared to me in my room, above my dresser, and
Wow.
it was Paul. I mean, it was very clearly Paul, and he just said, "Hey," and then that image went away. And then for a long,
Oh,
yeah, it was very clear. It was very clearly him in a spirit like image, and I know that was him. I'm sure of it.
yeah.
Um,
See, I have yet to actually, I mean, I've had a visitation, um, and I hear a lot of stories from a lot of, different grieving moms and dads where they actually physically saw,
mhm.
their angel. I have yet to see that. I know it's coming, but that must have been amazing.
It was truly amazing. And then for since then I haven't had any, well, that type of visit from my Paul, but it was a long time before I heard from him again in what I would call a visitation. And so I believe it was in March. I was laying in bed. It was the middle of the night. I'd been tossing and turning all night. I couldn't get to sleep, and I don't even believe I was asleep when this was happening. But my son Paul came to me while I was asleep. I felt
Hmm.
I felt someone get in the bed with me, and it was definitely that feeling of somebody getting in the bed with me. And I've had that sensation since then of somebody
Wow.
getting in the bed with me. So I think it's Paul. But this time he lifted me up and started hugging me and said over and over again, "I love you so much, Mom. I love you so much, Mom." And then I'm sorry. And then I told him I loved him too. And I had seen a medium before this, and the medium had told me that Paul had a horse where he is. And so I asked him if he had a horse, and he said yes. And then I asked him, well, what is it like where you are? And he said, oh, I don't know. He kind of avoided that question, and didn't want to tell me what it was like where he was. So we just went on hugging each other and telling each other how much we loved each other. And then at the end, what I remembered at the end is I said to him, I'll see you soon. And he started crying. And
Oh,
so I don't know what that means. I've shortly after Paul passed away, I saw my father in a vision, and I saw my what appeared to be an old German woman in a vision. And if you listen, I think I talked about that in the last video I did. But my son, I
yes.
believe, when he was a young child, he was obsessed with German and Germany. I don't know why. This was when he was in the second or third grade. So I think he might have had a past life in Germany, and that's what I was seeing is this woman. I don't know if it was me in a past life, but the mermaid, the medium said to me that I was his wife in a past life. And so I thought, well, I don't know if I don't even. I'm kind of on the fence about how I feel about past lives, but I said I don't even know if that's true. And then Paul did come to me again in a dream, and it was very brief. He said, "You were my wife," is all he said. Is you were my wife, and that just came, and that's all. It was just him popping in the dream and saying, "You were my wife." But at the end of the dream that I was talking about previously, I just looked up at the ceiling, and I was.
So
Oh,
I am so sorry. I didn't advertise it, but hold on. We do have a call. I am so sorry. Hold on one moment.
okay.
Welcome to A Grieving Mother's Journey. Who am I speaking with? Okay, that's fine, Tempe. No worries. We can still have you on. Right now, we do have Dr. Pam Reese who is sharing her story. Yes, please. So yes, if you just give us a moment, stay on the line, and you can share your story by phone. Okay. All right. Hold on, honey. Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Pam. Go
I
ahead.
don't remember what's the last thing. I don't remember the last thing I said. But anyway,
You were talking about where he said that you are his wife or something along
yeah,
those
and
lines.
so that came through in a dream. I don't really understand then that, but I've since talked to a medium who has confirmed some of the things that I've been experiencing since then. But those are the two visitations that I've had, and they were so real.
I'm
I mean,
sorry. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. Hold on one second. Tempe, are you still on the line? Okay, we're hearing a lot of background stuff going on. So are you actually listening to the show right now? Perfect. No, that's perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang up so that Dr. Pam Reese can finish her story. I'm going to give you the cue to call in. Would you mind calling back? Awesome. Thank you so much. We will talk to you shortly, okay? Okay,
okay,
bye-bye.
yeah, technology always
Okay,
has
I
its
am so
challenges.
sorry, Pam.
Um, so
Go
anyway,
ahead.
now I've lost my train of thought again. But we were talking. You were talking about the differences between a visitation and a sign before, and it is true. A sign, we see signs when we look for them. And a good example of this is I was telling my aunt Sharon when I talked to her a couple of weeks ago that my mother has never come through since my son passed away, and I've been kind of surprised about that, as I've never really felt my mother's presence. But it was because I wasn't looking for signs from her. Because the other
Mhm.
day I noticed, why am I seeing all these yellow butterflies? And my mother's favorite color was yellow. She loved yellow roses. And then a butterfly actually came up to the window. We were looking out the window, and the butterfly just came up to the window. It was a yellow
Aw.
butterfly and then went away. So now I realize, oh, my mother is trying to get in touch with me through these yellow butterflies. And we also have yellow finches in our yard. But a lot of times, are you going to have another show on signs, or did you?
Possibly, we have a few other episodes that are already scheduled to come up, but that is
Okay.
definitely a good idea. I actually put something on our Facebook page, our group page, for any suggestions on different episodes. Go ahead and put it in the comment. I know a while back we did have one of our members that asked us to do an episode on forgiveness, and I have confirmed that Dr. Adia, my niece, your
Yeah.
cousin, will actually be back, and she will be doing that episode. So please
Oh,
feel free
good.
to share any ideas that you have in the comments on that.
Yeah, so you really can't see a sign until you look for it, especially in the early stages of grief. I have really not moved through my grief process as well as my cousin here has. I'm still suffering a lot. So I think, when you suffer, when you're in deep grief, you can't, it takes so much energy to be in grief that you really don't have the energy for anything else. And so while I still feel like I'm not making much progress in my grief, I am making a little progress in that I am more open to seeing the signs that are presented to me. But in that way too, once you open yourself
So
up
have
like
you
that,
had any other visitation?
yeah.
Have you had any other visitations
Yeah,
from
as
Paul?
I mentioned, I've about maybe every couple of weeks to every 3 weeks, I feel like somebody's getting in the bed with me. And even though it wasn't that powerful of a visitation like it was that the other time that I described, I am having these visitations, and I am feeling
That's awesome.
Paul get in the bed with me.
All right. Well, so it's 6:29. We do have another guest as well as I need to share mine as well. So if you just want to hang in there, Tempe, if you are still listening, please go ahead and call in and share your story. These were amazing stories between Scooby and Dr. Pam Reese. I love it. Visitations are so important. Um, Girl, thank you. I'm so glad you thought about calling in because I know you were having problems coming, on the platform. So I'm really glad that you thought about that because we would love to, for you to share your story. So go ahead and let the listeners know about your visitation, or I think it was your mom had a visitation. Oh wow,
Are we supposed to be able to hear her?
awesome. Can you hear me? You should be able to hear me. Can you hear me?
I hear you, but are we supposed to be able to
Okay.
hear Tempe?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Yes.
But we can't hear her.
Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm getting messages from people saying that they can't hear you for some reason. I'm not understanding why. Uh okay. If you got okay, if are you guys listening? If you can hear her now, please let me know in the comments. And I'm sorry because I've been on other sites today and there was some issues. I'm not sure what's going on with the internet today, but if you guys can hear the caller, please let me know right now. I don't know what's going on. It's not, for some reason, it is not connecting and they cannot hear you. Okay. You could hear her because she's in the studio, huh? No, she's not speaking. It's a caller. And I don't know. I am so Sorry, Tempe. I'm not sure. I never had this problem before, but again, I know there was some issues earlier. So what I'm going to do is we're going to hang up. Just keep listening. I'm going to go ahead and just share my story, and then I'll give you the cue. Yes, I'll give you the cue, and then try to call back in, and hopefully it'll work. And if not, I promise to have you back because I'm so excited to hear your story. And I'm so sorry that they can't hear. So just keep listening. I'll give you the cue to call back. Maybe it's just a bad connection. But we're going to try again in a few minutes. Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, I'm so sorry. I don't know what is going on, but can you guys hear me? Please put in there if you
Yes.
can hear me still.
Hmm.
You can still hear. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, gosh, not sure what happened there. So I do want to hear their stories. So in the meantime, I guess I'll go ahead and share mine. So I hope you guys are seated. Cousin Pam, it's crazy that you mentioned about the bed part because our story is so similar. It's
Mm,
crazy. Now it really
wow.
makes me know that I am not crazy.
Hmm.
I have not shared this visitation with anyone but my kids because anyone that has not lost a child or has not experienced a visitation, they probably would have tried to admit me. So let me tell you guys, this was maybe a few months after my son had passed, Malik Davis, Malik Land. So I was still in that stage where everything was a fog. All I did was cry all the time. It was so crucial and so excruciating. So I remember I had my computer and I have his picture up as a screensaver and just a picture in general. And I remember I was kind of by myself, and I was sitting at the table with his picture up, and I was literally talking to him. I was talking to the picture. I'm not crazy, I promise. Tears coming everywhere. I was just like Malik, I miss you so much. I need to talk to you, and listen to this. I said to him, Malik, I said, I just need you to lay with me and just hold me. I swear to God.
Wow.
When you cry so much, right? You're crying so much and you're kind of like, that deep cry, that excruciating cry to the point where when it's done, you are so exhausted, right? So I was out of it. I was exhausted. I went to bed. I remember laying down and after that, all I remember is a visitation. I don't remember falling asleep. I just remember the visitation. So I know I fell asleep pretty much instantly. And if you've ever had those types of sleeps where you are kind of awake, but you can't open your eyes, right? I'm sure if you could feel me, hit me in the comments, please. Where you're just kind of like you're awake, but you're not awake. You can't open your eyes, you can't talk, you can't scream, but you're still seeing things. So at this point, I remember. So let me go back just a little bit. So I had a dog, and at the time his name was Leaky, not Leaky. I'm sorry, that was the second one, Riddick. And Riddick used to always wait for me to go to sleep. Then he would come in and hop on my bed. He'd crawl over my legs and lay beside me. It would kind of wake me up a little bit when he did that, but I knew it was him, and I would just kind of go back to sleep, and he would cuddle with me. Riddick wasn't home. Riddick was with my child Moody. So this night I was literally by myself, and I remember first it started with those kind of dreams that you have where it's like, hey, I'm going to fall, I'm going to fall. So I literally felt my body moving to the edge of the bed. And to the point where I kind of woke up enough and I fought it, right? I thought, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to fall off the bed. I'm going to fall off the bed. So I woke up enough for that. I went back to sleep. It happened again. But this time, I just let it be. I was like, the hell with it. I'm exhausted. If I fall, I fall, right? It happened again. I felt my son lift my body to the edge of the bed and hug me. Oh, it's not over. He hugged me. Then I felt these footsteps crawl over my body like Riddick used to do. And he lay next to me. And I remember in my mind saying, Riddick. But then I said, but Riddick's not here. And my son, he laid with me and he hugged me. He did exactly what I needed for that night. And the whole time I'm still kind of asleep, but the fact that I felt something crawl, like get in the bed, go over my feet, over my legs, the same way Riddick used to do. Now, if Riddick was there, it'd be a little different. I'd be like, oh, it's just Riddick. He wasn't there. And I remember waking up the next day feeling so comforted. I was in so much comfort to know, number one, my son heard me. So if there's anybody out there that has not had a visit or anything, listen, just know your angels, they hear you. Don't give up. Keep talking to them. They like when you talk to them. And they're listening. Now I've never had a visit like that since then. It may be, God, he's only going to allow so much. But I think that God knew that night I needed that. I needed that to move forward, to survive. And it was the most amazing visit I have ever had. So just so you know, visitations, they're real. And our angels, they hear us and they're there for us. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cry, but it's so, this is something that like I said, I've never shared with anybody but my kids, because as a new mother at the time, a new grieving mother at the time, it's like, man, I can't tell people that. They're going to think I'm crazy. I wasn't crazy. It happened. He was there. I asked for it and I got it. He lifted my body and he hugged me. He climbed over me and he stayed with me. So don't give up. Don't give up, moms. Don't give up. Ask. Just ask. And they'll be there. So
yeah, I've had that
sorry.
same sensation of being lifted up too.
Yeah.
And that happened
It's
before
awesome,
I had that
isn't it?
other
It's so
visitation.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's amazing. So I'm gonna read a couple of comments. I'm so sorry, guys. This has been like an emotional episode, but a well-needed episode. So I'm gonna kind of read. Let's see. Hey Kay, my admin, my butterfly. Hey y'all. She says. Julissa says hi, Santana, to the little one. Yes. And Tempe says I'm on YouTube, but I can't hear y'all. Lord, please. I hope there's no issues with that. And let's see here. Let's see. Let's go down a little bit more. Joan said that's happened to me. Oh, it did, Joan. That's interesting. So, Joan, everybody, by the way, Joan O'Brien, that is my best friend in the whole wide world. We've been best friends for over 30 years. We talk every single, well, not every single day, but pretty much all the time. So, Joan, I'm going to need you to come on and share your story. Love you, BFF. And Joan also says, "Don't apologize for crying. That was an amazing visit. Thank you so much." Veronica Monk, she gives us heart. Veronica, better late than never. And let's see. Kay says, "I'm praying on my brother's visit for me. It's coming, honey. Just you have to be able to receive it, but it's coming. He loved you so much." And Joan says that I was sleep and not sleep at the same time. Yes, Joan, I get it. I get it, because that's kind of what happened with me. I was in and out enough where I couldn't really react physically, but the brain was acknowledging what was happening. And that's the amazing part of it. So it is 6:43. I don't want to take up all the time. Tempe, please try to call again. We'd love to hear your story. If it doesn't work, I promise you I'm going to have you back on. We'll get it fixed. I think it really has something to do. I don't know what's going on today, but I was on another call earlier today, not with this, but the internet, it was just acting crazy. So Tempe's calling in now, everybody. Let's see. Hey, Tempe. I can hear you. Let's see. I need everyone that's listening to put in the comments if you can now hear her okay. Oh, gosh. I don't.
Oh,
Yeah, no. And they're still saying they can't hear you. I don't get it. I don't know what's going on. Now, it could be, Tempe, that this is the first time where I've actually, well, no, because I've had people on and I've had a caller come in. It could just be an error. So I'll tell you what, Tempe, if you would, you have this number. When we are done with the show, I want you to give me a call. I want to do a test run and bring you on just as a test to see, so we can have you back again, because the listeners can't hear you. Oh, yes, indeed. I'm so sorry. Okay. Thank you, honey. Bye-bye. So I'm so sorry, guys. Our third guest, she was not able to get on to the platform like Dr. Pam is. But what I need, if somebody would please volunteer, please, just for 5 seconds. I need you to call the line, the number on the that's scrolling at the bottom. I just need to confirm that it's not my line. Because it could have been. I don't know if it was Tempe's line or if it was mine, but if somebody could please just call me so I could see, because I'm going to need to get this fixed for future podcasts. Please call in 571-409-3400. And Scooby, do you have anything else to share?
Actually, the whole bad situation.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine.
Bestie, hi. I can hear you, so I just want to do a test run. Anyone listening, please put in the comments whether or not you can hear Joan on the line, please. I can hear you. Okay, so it's something on my end. I think I'm going to have to fix it. Okay. All right. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Joan, though, for calling in. I appreciate it. All right. Bye. So I'm wondering if it's because, I'm not sure what's going on. So something's going on with the phone lines, guys. So you can't call in tonight. I promise I will get it fixed for the next go around. If you have any questions for any one of our guests, please go ahead and put it in the comments. And I promise you that the next go around, I'll have it fixed. I'm not sure what's going on. Boy, this is exhausting. So I'm sorry. So go ahead and continue.
Yeah, so I was actually talking on the phone with my sister, just discussing the promotion I recently got. And all of a sudden, my son, like you said, your dog wasn't there. My son was actually spending time with his father at that time. And all of a sudden, I just feel like these deep
Oh,
like
wow.
imprints in the bed. And I'm looking at the phone because I'm always video chatting my sister. I'm looking, I was like,
What is that? Who's that?
and she was like, who over there? I said, nobody. At least I don't think so. And I said, Killa, it's somebody on my bed. She was like, if Santana ain't there, who's on your bed?
Oh, goodness.
I said, I don't know. And then all of a sudden, just more like you could see the indentions on the other side of the bed because I'm only just laying on one
Yes,
side.
I've heard that before.
And you
Yes.
see the indentions, and I was like, I said, Killa, I should not went to the movie. I said, because I'm tripping right now. And she started laughing. She was like, no, maybe it's Poncho. I said, if it's Poncho, it's probably because I had made the pastelitos earlier when it's hungry. And all of a sudden, I just hear like, I got like a deep breath. I said, Killa, I gotta go. I hung up. I said, I gotta go. I left. I went to the other side of the apartment. I said, looking at my phone. It just felt so real. And then I go and look to where I have my loved ones in their urns, the wall where they're at. And I'm just looking and it's just like I felt like this something like a warm feeling just come over me.
Yes.
Like somebody's like embracing me or something like that. And I just started crying. I was like, don't lose your mind. Don't lose your mind. But I was just like crying. I was like, had a good poncho.
It definitely was. It
Always
definitely
messing with
was.
me. Always messing with me. Because I'm the shortest out of the three. The oldest, but I'm sure so it was messing. So I did enjoy that.
So I do want to try one thing before we go. Cousin Pam, I'm just wondering if maybe it's because I have two people on the platform.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is I am going to have you go. I'm going to take you off the platform, but I'm not going to, remove you.
Right. Okay.
And then I'm going to have a caller and just see if that works. This is trial and error, everybody. I'm so sorry. Okay, you left me, Pam. I'm just going to remove you, but I'm not going to delete you. Hold on. Okay. Now, I need someone to call in. Kay, can you please call me? Diamond, anybody, please call me really quick. I need to make sure this is working. Because that could have been it. This is my first episode where I had two people on plus the phone. That could be it. Well, can't call because of the phones, but okay. Oh, there she is. Okay. Hey, Butterfly. Hi. Thank you for doing that. I'm just having technical difficulties tonight. I didn't expect that would streamline. I hope it's not going to be an issue going further. But if anybody can hear Kay on the line, please put it in the comments. Nope, still can't hear you. Okay. Wow. Oh.
I'm going off now.
Okay. Bye. Okay, guys. All right, Pim, I'm sorry. I just had to do a quick test, but okay. This is really going to bother me because I need to make sure the phone lines are working. I will get it fixed, so I promise you. Pam, did you have anything else that you wanted to share about a visitation with Paul?
No, but it's interesting that we all had similar experiences, and I've since Paul left this world, I've been doing a lot of reading about the spiritual world and signs and so forth, and you'd be surprised that generally as parents we seem to have the same experiences after our children have left us. I know that my cousin and I are a member of a Facebook page called Helping Parents Heal, and if you go on there too, you'll see a lot of and they have thousands of people on that are members of that website. But if you look at all the experiences people talk about, they're similar. So our children try to reach us in similar manners, and in addition, our children are in the spirit world with other children, other people that have passed, also young people as well as family. And so sometimes we may get messages from them, speaking through, like for example, both of my parents have passed on, but I may hear from them. I hear from Paul through them. I haven't yet, but I've known of people that have heard from their children through the spirits of others.
So,
Yeah. So I think did you also have a show at one point on spirit angels, on spirit guides?
no, I have not.
Mm,
This is the first episode that I've done that has anything to do with
mhm,
visitation and signs.
mhm.
And earlier, just a few minutes ago, you had mentioned something about a website that has different experiences on that.
No, I was talking about the Facebook page, Helping Parents Heal, um, which is a site for
Oh, okay,
parents.
okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah. For parents that have
okay,
lost their
so
children.
yeah, we'll talk about other groups, yeah, at another
Mhm.
time.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I thought you had mentioned like a website, with that. But
Mm-mm,
yeah,
no, it's
it's crazy how all three of us have
not.
experienced
Mhm,
the footsteps on the
mhm,
bed. So that might be telling us that's probably maybe a common sign that
mhm,
the way our angels visit us.
mhm.
And I find it really amazing that
Oh,
that happens. But the other thing I notice is that it tends to happen while we're sleeping, right?
yeah.
Now, the signs happen when we're awake, right? Because,
Mhm,
not too long ago, just last week, I
mhm.
was sitting outside on the porch, and as soon as I sat in my chair and looked to my right, there was a feather, like right there.
Yeah.
So
Mhm,
in the front, I have like the mulch, and I have a vase with my son on it and flowers, and I have some lights around it. And the feather was like right there.
mhm.
So, again, that's not a visitation, but it's a
Yeah.
sign. Like I said, feathers, dimes, pennies, cardinals, birds,
Mhm,
even butterflies is another one.
mhm.
I did see something. I think it was on YouTube, like months back, where a lady had lost a child, and her, I think it was her sister. They were kind of hanging out in the backyard, and this butterfly actually came and landed on her. And, she
Mhm.
talked to it, and the butterfly stayed there, for a little while, and then it flew away. So those are definitely signs.
Yeah.
So we could
And
probably do an episode
mhm,
on that in the future. But speaking of episodes, I do want to announce, I think I did earlier. So next week, guys, I think it's next week, we do have Siblings Speak Part 2 by popular demand that will be back. So if there's anyone that's interested, um, and coming on as a guest, please let me know. I know there's listen. If we have a lot of angel moms and dads out there with multiple children. So I know there's a lot of siblings out there. We all grieve, but I am here to say that grief varies. It's different. It's different when a mother loses a child. It's different person loses a sibling. It's different when a sibling, loses another sibling. So there's, it's all grief, but it's still.
mhm. Cousin, can you hear me? We can't hear or see you anymore. Oops.
All right. Listen,
Okay. Now we can see you and hear you.
that I can't see you. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on. I think it's an internet thing, to be honest with you guys today. Like I said earlier, I've been having so many issues with the internet. I am so sorry for this. But you know what? The devil is a lie. He didn't want y'all to know that our
Oops.
and Mike, keep in mind, this is for you, like. Of course, it's still for a grieving mom, whatever, but it doesn't have to be a sad time. You can come in and you can rant, you can rave, you can talk about happy times.
I wonder if I sign out, will Kai, what should we do? Should we just sign out? Should I sign out? Oops.